Deep within a shadowy crevice along the ocean floor, a creature resting quietly in its den displays a level of spatial awareness and problem-solving that rivals many terrestrial mammals. Yet within a mere 2 years of its birth, this remarkably complex organism will almost certainly be dead, leaving behind no legacy, no wisdom, and no surviving lineage that remembers its brief presence in the sea. It is easy to assume that such a brief lifespan is simply the inevitable fate of a soft-bodied creature living in a predatory world, but this animal is not dying from disease, physical exhaustion, or the harsh violence of the open ocean, because inside its very biology sits a deliberate chemical sequence designed to turn off its life. To understand why such a highly evolved mind is granted so little time, we must look closely at how these solitary animals interact, meeting only once in adulthood for the sole purpose of reproduction before immediately separating and returning to their solitary lives along the seabed. The process begins quietly as the female stores sperm in specialized compartments within her oviducal gland. As she lays her clutch, each egg is fertilized in sequence during its passage through the gland. She binds the long strands tightly to the rock ceiling using a durable secretion of mucus. From that moment onward, she anchors herself beside the clutch and will never willingly wander away. What appears to human observers as unwavering maternal affection is actually the onset of a profound physiological shift. She stops feeding completely, ignoring prey that swims directly within reach of her tentacles. This fasting is not merely a behavioral choice driven by vigilance, but a metabolic shutdown. Her posterior salivary and digestive glands actively cease function, rendering her physically incapable of processing food. For weeks or even months, she gently blows streams of oxygenated water over the clutch and cleans away debris. By the time the tiny paralarvae finally break free from their casings, the mother has succumbed to total biological collapse. Is this intense period of brooding a heroic act of sacrifice? Or is it an execution forced upon her body by an ancient biological script? To answer that question, marine biologists turn their attention to 2 small structures tucked inside the octopus head, known as the optic glands. These paired organs lie positioned directly between the brain and the large optic lobes. They function as a primary neuroendocrine center, broadly serving the same regulatory role as the pituitary gland in human beings. In 1959, researchers Wells and Wells demonstrated that these glands control the precise timing of sexual maturation. Then, in 1977, biologist Jerome Wodinsky published a paper in Science that completely shifted our understanding of animal mortality. Working with Caribbean 2-spot octopuses, Wodinsky targeted females that had already laid their eggs and entered their terminal fasting period. Through precise microsurgery, he carefully excised both optic glands from these brooding individuals. The shift in their behavior was immediate and absolute. First, the females completely abandoned their clutches, leaving the delicate eggs behind. Second, they resumed hunting, greedily consuming crabs and shellfish once again. Third, their body weight returned, regaining muscle mass that had been lost during the fast. And fourth, some of the operated females even made it a second time, completely resetting their reproductive cycle. Remarkably, these glandectomised females lived an average of 5.75 months longer than the intact control group. Wodinsky concluded that the optic glands act as an active self-destruct system built directly into the animal. Death in these creatures is not an unfortunate byproduct of parental exhaustion, but a targeted, active command. When the glands are removed, the deadly order is silenced, proving that the death switch can be physically uncoupled. Yet, despite decades of study since Wodinsky's discovery, identifying the exact chemical driver has proven elusive. Nearly 50 years after the experiment, researchers have still not isolated a single smoking gun hormone responsible for the decline. In 2018, groundbreaking research by Wang and Ragsdale revealed that the mechanism is far more intricate than previously thought. Rather than relying on one simple trigger, the optic glands engage multiple interconnected molecular signaling pathways at once. Further chemical analysis, published in 2022, identified a distinct chemical cocktail produced during this phase. The secretions include elevated levels of pregnant steroids, 7-dehydrocholesterol, and various bile acid intermediates. This lethal pathway appears to be activated by specific environmental cues, including ambient light shifts and nutritional changes. Crucially, the timing of intervention determines whether the animal can be saved. If the optic glands are removed after the reproductive system has fully matured, the cascade cannot be stopped. Once crossed, this point of no return locks the octopus into an irreversible biological countdown. The physiological phase that follows is known as rapid senescence, and its physical manifestation is devastating. In captive settings, observers have recorded disturbing behavioral breakdown during this final phase. Some starving, brooding females have been documented self-mutilating and entangling their own arms as motor control fails. Why would natural selection engineer such a horrific and mandatory termination mechanism? One compelling evolutionary explanation centers directly on resource competition within localized marine habitats. A dying parent ensures it will never compete with thousands of its own offspring for food or territory. For a solitary predator producing immense clutches, long-term survival alongside its young offers no evolutionary benefit. Yet this evolutionary arrangement carries a monumental consequence that shapes the entire existence of the species. Because the female dies before or during hatching, and the male died months prior, generational overlap is entirely erased. When a young octopus emerges into the sea, there is no parent nearby to guide or protect it. There is no older adult hunting in the vicinity, nor any elder guarding the reef. Consider the reality of that transition across every generation. No octopus has ever met its mother. Think of what that absent relationship costs a species with such immense cognitive potential. Every sophisticated skill an octopus demonstrates throughout its life, it was forced to invent entirely alone. The precise technique required to pry open stubborn shellfish must be mastered through individual trial and error. The impressive ability to manipulate coconut shells and rocks as protective armor is discovered independently by each youth. Their proven capacity to recognize individual human faces in research laboratories is developed without any social template. The complex puzzle-solving skills that astonish marine scientists are arrived at from absolute scratch in every single life. There are no elders to teach the young where to hunt, how to camouflage, or how to navigate currents. There is no cultural transmission, no shared history, and no accumulated knowledge passed down through generations. We often characterize octopus intelligence as fundamentally alien, usually pointing to their distributed nervous systems or color-changing skin. We marvel at tentacles that think independently and eyes that see polarized light across the spectrum. Yet the most truly alien aspect of their existence is far simpler and infinitely more tragic. Everything an individual octopus learns about the world, it figures out entirely on its own in roughly 700 days. And when that short window closes, every bit of hard-won wisdom vanishes into the deep blue ocean. Nothing is passed on, no library of experience is accumulated, and no lineage inherits its breakthroughs. Every octopus that has ever lived was forced to start completely from zero, and the biological switch that guarantees this eternal isolation sits quietly in two tiny glands directly behind its eyes. If evolution had permitted these brilliant creatures to live long enough to teach their young, how different might the oceans look today? Share your thoughts in the comments below, like this video, and subscribe for more deep explorations into the wonders of nature.